Network relentlessly, talk with others, and that's the only way you can build a business. Have you heard this? And if you check the topic out, you would know that am I making sense? Do introverts really make good leaders? That's what I want to talk about today. What people don't realize is we judge people from the outside. 40% of all introverts in high levels of C-suite levels are all hugely introverted. We see that in our day-to-day lives as well, right? Loudness being rewarded. The person who could speak with others, mix with others, that is the one being praised. If you're introverted, you are often delegated to the last benches. You're not understood. You have often keep on hearing, what will you do with your life? How will you go about? How will you work? For society, people don't understand that too quiet and mixing are not tenets of being leadership. Let me talk about how I went about knowing my journey, what I really wanted, and why I chose business. Right. So, growing up, I did reasonably well, not very well, but reasonably well in academics. I cracked CAT, GMAT, etc. So I landed in a top B school. 1 month in there, I realized flat out it was not meant for me. It didn't mean that I couldn't keep up with the academic pressure or something. Far from it. I found out that over there you need to work in teams, you need to work in groups, and the time you get for yourself. Now I like to think, I like to process. That's how I work. I go deep into something, I do my homework well. That's how I roll. Over there you get very less time. So there were two questions in front of me. Is that the life I want for myself? Enough to push myself to the comfort zone? Now for somebody it would be yes, you would want that. I couldn't see myself at that kind of life at that forefront. So I dropped out and hell broke loose in my family, because you know what happens in middle class homes in India, especially if you drop out of a top B school or any top college for that matter. So I cracked a government exam on top of that. It was not the type of life I want. For a long time, I even thought that I made a mistake by dropping out. But when it came to know much about myself, I knew what I wanted. I knew I couldn't function in a setting where slow thinking was not possible. Now that's what I want to talk about. It's funny though, I have made my life in marketing itself. If you have spoken to anybody in my vicinity back then, even my parents, marketing, business was the last possible word that would come to them. And that's what's wrong. You see, introverts can make good business people. I went into business, made the business from scratch, from myself, and I'm running my agency for the 7th year running. But what I learned about myself in the process is there are choices I made to come outside of my comfort zones, to break myself, to be better. And there are sometimes choices that I made that enabled me to grow at my own rhythm. And that's nothing wrong. Now, Satya Nadella, for example, after he went into and took over the helm, he said, listening should be your culture. Listening, not doing, because that's the tenet of leadership that is lacking in most conglomerates, and the true leaders are the ones who listen. The society is pro-biased towards extroverts. When it comes to introverts, people have a saying, even if you go deep back in times in 1920s and 1930s, even what was existent back at that, what being taught at schools, even the people who got selected in Harvard and Yale back at that time, if you read the book of Susan Cain, Quiet, people who really talk about leadership and how. The problem with introverts is they process things differently, and it is very hard for the mass to accept it. When gregariousness is being rewarded and you can't put up with that, you hold yourself back. you curl in a corner. I know a guy, a brother of mine, I won't take the name, he's having a real bad time going with, like, he's preparing for his G exams right now. His parents want him to be a certain kind of person. He wants to be a certain kind of person, and this is an introvert who loves reading books. He loves writing poetry, which has got no meaning in his life. So the parents are judging him on a context which he will never ace. So studies have shown that it's not necessary that a person with a loud predisposition will have good ideas. The correlation factor doesn't work like that. So what do you do? How can you be an introverted leader, or how can you go about maintaining your introvertedness and still make a point? Number one, prepare very hard. For introverts, spontaneous stuff is something we don't like. So prepare, make notes. Whenever I go into a client meeting, I have all my notes laid out in front of me. I know exactly what I want to speak and go on, right? Number two, did I absolutely not network at all and make my business? If I say absolutely no, that would be wrong, right? I did targeted networking. Take one day at a time. Don't try to put yourself in situations where there is many to many. What do I mean? Like you talk to multiple people all at once. For me, during the first 2 years of my business, it was just a painful ordeal to show my face in a Zoom or a Gmeet to a client. And now I do this off and on because I provide consultations for their businesses and take over their marketing. Now, if you ask the Orithro back then, do I see myself doing this ever? I'd say no. That's the thing. Break those shackles at your own rhythm. Let no one tell you this is the rhythm, that is the rhythm. Break your shackle at your own rhythm. Third, make a blog. It can be anything. Make a journal. Write for yourself. Put it out there. Maybe Medium, maybe LinkedIn. Don't write to get impressions. Don't write to get likes. Just write. And I know you, as an introvert, you are in a habit of overthinking. I do as well. So I have a trick that works. As I said, buy that notebook. Write your thoughts on it. Keep writing on it till you meet the end of the day. At the end of the day, scratch it over. If you have crayons, especially the black color crayon, just like you're doing a revenge kind of art, just scratch it over. Before going to bed, tear it out, put it in the dustbin. Do it for 30 days. See whether your thinking is changing or not. This certainly helped me a lot. More thing, you need to learn that you will always speak less and listen more, and that's your superpower. Introversion is my superpower. I would not be here if it weren't for the fact that I was an introvert, and that's something I do not want to change about me. Do not try to change who you are. It's just the software upgrades that happen in your system from time to time. You get to decide when, how, and where. Even if you take personalities like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, though I do not agree, condone, or do anything of their actions, I just like to put it out there. But those are big time introverts, especially Bill Gates, who said that an introvert can step in the shoes of an extrovert anytime he wants. Let that line stay with you. An introvert can stay and go into the shoes of an extrovert anytime he wants. Make yourself capable of that. Don't let the opinions of others misguide you. Not everyone is fit to be an extrovert. Not everyone is meant to be an introvert. You need to know who you are, what you want from life. World that where people wants to fake and hurt others, in a world which is exceedingly noisy, I definitely see being an introvert matters. You bring that calmness to the equation. Let others function in their own way. If you try to function in the way others do, you will fall behind, and it is not due to the fact that you are a failure. It is does the same thing like a fish and a bird. The bird will fly and the fish will swim. Don't try to fly as a fish. Don't try to swim as a bird. Learn where your strengths lie. Play according to your strengths as an introvert. If you play your cards right, it won't matter. Though your life would be different. There's no sugarcoating it. But the fact that extroverts rule is not right. There are introverts and outliers like me. There are several introverts who can talk and can put themselves out there as well. There are various kinds of introverts, and I will walk you through each kind in my next videos. Lead even if you are not loud. You can help yourself and you can also help others. If you are an introvert, just because you don't fit certain blocks of the society doesn't mean that you will not make it. I made it, and I'm the worst possible case of Asperger's and introvert that I met. I still avoid people who I don't like. I'm very choosy, but I make no qualms about it. I know who I'm talking to. I know what I want from my life. I know how much I value my mental peace. So if someone doesn't understand me, if you meet trolls, for example, so what? It's completely okay.